help me reach 1,000 subscribers. For months I had felt the tension in our home, an invisible frost creeping over the warmth we once shared. Smiles from her felt staged, touches became fleeting, and laughter no longer reached her eyes. I tried to talk, to reason, even to ignore the unease, hoping it might pass. But every instinct, every quiet doubt, had been building toward this inevitable truth. She was slipping away, and I could no longer pretend otherwise. Our marriage, once steady and familiar, was unraveling before me, and I could sense it more acutely than ever. It was on a Thursday evening when clarity struck me. She mentioned casually that she was heading out with a friend to her favorite Italian restaurant downtown. A pang of unease twisted my stomach as I asked for details, and she only smiled, light, effortless, careless, the kind of smile that had once drawn me in and now made my blood run cold. I realized in that moment that the time had come. I didn't want confrontation filled with shouting or pleading. I didn't want theatrics. I wanted the truth to land like a mirror, sharp and undeniable, breaking her illusions in one silent strike. At home I printed the divorce papers, fresh ink glinting under the kitchen light, words stark and unflinching. My hands trembled, but it wasn't fear. It was a mixture of anticipation and a strange relief. I folded the papers carefully, slid them into an envelope, and tucked it into the pocket of her purse, knowing she would carry it with her. I left the apartment with a calm I did not feel, the quiet knowledge that by nightfall, nothing between us would remain as it had. Her text arrived at 8 o'clock. A simple asterisk followed by a heart emoji, a signal of affection that now seemed like mockery. I didn't reply. Instead, I settled on my favorite bench in the park nearby, a vantage point from which I could watch the restaurant unseen. Coffee in hand, pretending to read a book, my eyes never left the entrance. When she arrived, radiant in a black dress that clung to her curves, laughing at something her companion had said, I felt a surge of conflicting emotions, sadness, envy, heartbreak. This was the woman I had loved, trusted, and poured myself into, now sharing laughter with someone else while I sat hidden in the shadows of our life. I reminded myself it wasn't about jealousy. It was about clarity, about revealing the reality she had carefully hidden. I waited until she bent down to retrieve her purse. That was the moment. I knew the envelope would brush against her fingers. She pulled it out, confusion crossing her face first, followed by disbelief and then the faintest flicker of anger. Her eyes searched instinctively, realizing too late that I was there, watching from across the street. What is this?" she whispered, her voice trembling but tinged with defiance. I rose slowly, letting my presence fill the space between us. "That," I said evenly, "is the truth. Our marriage is over." Her hand shook as she stared at the papers, glancing at her companion, who had frozen in unease. This is ridiculous. We can fix this." "I didn't mean," she faltered. I shook my head gently, my voice steady. "You've been living a lie. Laughing, texting, pretending while betraying me. This isn't something that can be fixed. Not tonight, not ever." Her lips moved, words ready to spill, but nothing emerged. The weight of the envelope in her hand spoke louder than any apology could. I stepped closer, soft but firm, not to humiliate her, not to yell or shame. I wanted her to understand that I had seen everything, and that I refused to be a part of it any longer. Tears streaked down her face, raw and unguarded, but they did nothing to alter the truth. The man beside her shifted uncomfortably, sensing the tension, but this was between us alone. I turned away slowly, each step a reclamation of the self I had been losing for months. I didn't look back, though I could feel her gaze burning into my back. The laughter, the betrayal, the restaurant. All of it faded behind me, replaced by a strange, liberating silence. Later that night, her text arrived, short and trembling. "Please, we can talk." I did not reply. Some things once broken cannot be repaired. Some truths once revealed cannot be unseen. The divorce papers were not merely words on paper. They were a declaration, final and unyielding, that deceit cannot survive where love once lived. Sitting alone in the quiet of my apartment, I recognized something I had long avoided. Betrayal does more than destroy trust. It erases the version of yourself that believed in forever. Yet within the ruins there was clarity. There was freedom. Tonight I walked away. Tonight I reclaimed my life. For the first time in months, I felt a quiet glimmer of peace, fragile but real. rising from the wreckage of everything I had lost.